Good morning, everybody. This is Daniel with Peace and Plenty Farms. This is a chaotic morning. I woke up not feeling well. My blood pressure was giving me trouble again, but I need to get some things done. So I came down to check on the Silkies. They're over there, and I noticed one of them was a little broody. So I'm going to show you a spot that I set aside for her in here, and then I'm going to walk you around and show you what's going on with the pigs and just a couple of things going on. Let me turn the camera around and we'll get started on the day. So the pigs are doing a lot better. You can see this is the one that was sick, really sick, and you can see how skinny she is. The bones, her backbones, even her shoulder blades up there are close together. She's really having a tough time, but her stool is starting to look a lot better. She was extremely diarrhea, had diarrhea real bad, but she is starting to get better, and her hind legs are starting to walk a little bit better, and she's not laying down all the time. She really looked like she was about out of it. She's a little out of it right here. You can just tell she's not in the mood this morning, but she did eat well. I believe she's on the road to recovery. We'll just have to see. I'm still giving her the medicine that a good friend of mine got for me. But I wanted to show you inside this coop, and first thing I wanted to tell you about is this 12-volt system that I put in. A long time ago when I built this coop, I bought these 12-volt lights, halogen lights, you know, because people were telling me you have to have lights in there to get eggs all winter long, and that's not true. You don't need that. These red sex links, they're called different names in different areas, but your common red chicken egg layer, they'll lay all winter long without the lights and the heat and whatnot. So I had the lights, two on this side, one here, one here. I just took this one down. That's the one laying here. And then I had two over here, one here and one there. They're hooked up to my 12-volt solar system. If I ever need lights in here, I could wire them up and get them going again, but I just don't need them right now. But what I did is, like I said, one of the Silkies is broody over there. So I rigged up this little place. I put a piece of paver concrete in here and some water and feed, and I put this little hook up here with a staple, and I'm gonna just put her right in here like this, and I've got another hook for this side over here. But I want to put her in here because now this is the Copper Moran's coop, so I want to have a little bit of a cage there to separate her out, so she'll have her own place. Now I'll probably move her over to my broody coop on the other side of the trash pile that I still haven't gotten hauled away. I'm just so busy with the fence priorities. If it can wait, everything that can wait is waiting. But the broody coop right there, of course, it has the Silkies that were hatched a couple of weeks ago. We'll check them out and see how they're doing. But as soon as these get a little bit bigger, we will move them over to the Silky area. That hen is half silky, half red, but she was broody. She helped brood these little chicks, so that worked out really well. Now they're going to go over here. I'm going to show you where I'm going to put those, and then I'll show you the little hen Silky that's gone broody over here. I'm going to call this area the stockyard now. I used to call it the garden, but now that we have pigs and sheep, and we're doing a colony situation in here. I'll just show you real quick. I know a lot of you have seen it, but this is my diving board and tunnel that goes back into that same coop we were just in. That way the rabbits can't get up to it, but the chickens can jump up to that diving board, I call it, and go on in the tunnel. And then right here is a small pipe for the rabbits to go in, and their J feeder is back there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in one of my rain gutters that'll run right here, and it'll stick into this area 2 or 3 feet, It'll run through the rabbit cage, dog cage, and then into the chicken feeding area over there. And that'll provide water for the colony, both the chicken area over there, the rabbit area right there, and the pigs right here. And then I can just put one electric warmer inside that gutter going through there, and that'll be the colony setup for here. Now they will have what I call the FEMA camps over here. They'll have different areas that they can go into, whether it's a pig area or a rabbit area, and I'll do the same thing to section them off. Now over here, this is where I came out this morning. I was gonna label the eggs that were in here because there was quite a few of them, and I wanted to label old and new and whatnot, and there she was brooding. So I'm going to pick her up right now. As soon as I want to show you one more thing, then I'm going to move her over to her new setup. I want to show you these little guys down here, how they're doing. They're getting bigger. Now this is the most protective male female bunnies that I've ever had. There she is right there. She is the most protective. I cannot stick my hand down in this. Normally when they're in the cage or whatever, I can stick my hand in there and count them. But what I need to do is I need to move them. I accidentally got started in this area. I need to move them out of this area and over to the other spot. Okay, sorry, the phone rang, so let me finish up where I was. I was talking about the little kits that the male and female rabbits laid. You can see her right underneath of the coop there, and they're getting big, like you saw. And what I want to do is, I want to get a little bit bigger. I'm going to have a heart trap. I'm going to catch them, and I'm going to take them out of the Silkies area, and I'm going to put them over here in that colony area that I just showed you with the pipe and the J feeders and the soon rain gutter for water for them over there. Then I will bring the Silkies from the Broody coop over here and put them in this area, and I'll close this off so that the rabbits and all of that can't get in there, and the Morans will be out of that area. Here are the Morans right here, and it'll be just strictly Silkies in here. And I'm going to build my fix this door back up. Now this will allow them to come out and free range this whole area around here. So we'll let them free range out here, and at night I'll just come out and close up this area. There's an electric fence that runs right there, and that'll be the Silkies area in there. And I'd also like to cut a hole into that coop right there and build a tunnel coming out and another one of my diving boards. Now I don't know, I don't know if the Silkies can hop up onto that diving board or not. So I have to be careful to keep the Morans separated from the Silkies. I don't know if that's going to work. We're going to start out with free range in the Silkies right here, keeping them separate from the Morans, and we'll grow those chickens that way. Those, what do you call it, a herd of chickens? Because I want to grow these Morans when the hen starts laying eggs. We'll start brooding those and growing that herd there, and the herd of chickens. I'll have to look that up. What do you call a bunch of chickens? A herd? I don't know. Well, let's get over here and get started on the rabbit area. I think some of them need straw. It's been raining the last 3 or 4 days, so I got this little vacuum cleaner out. I'm gonna plug it in. What I do is I go around and I just quickly vacuum out these J feeders every now and then. Occasionally poop falls down in there. Occasionally the feed gets hung up and it mildews, and I saw a couple of them that had mildew in them. So I'm gonna vacuum out their J feeders real quick, stock up their straw, check their water, and of course give them their pellets, their feed, and we'll move on to the next area. Okay, I've been working on the rabbit area here, and I vacuumed out all the J feeders, and I broke the vacuum cleaner in the process. The hose broke right where it comes out of the vacuum, and I fortunately have a lot of plumbing pieces and parts in my barn organized. Some of you have seen that in other videos, and I just want to say again that one of the things that we did when we were getting ready to start this homestead was we went to all kinds of yard sales and estate sales, rummage sales, whatever was going on, and I would buy in bulk large quantities of plumbing fittings, electrical fittings, just different tools, in piles of tools real cheap, piles of dog cages real cheap, and they've come in real handy now that we've been building the homestead. I don't get to go out to those yard sales as much as I used to, but I got all of my chainsaws and things like that from yard sales. You know, some of them $20, $40 chainsaws, and they're still going today. But what I'm trying to say is I went over to my parts bin and I was able to put together another connector for the vacuum cleaner. So I encourage you to keep in mind that if you're thinking about starting a homestead, hit the yard sales, hit the rummage sales, hit the building supply places, and get the things that you're going to need. Get them super cheap, because once you start doing your homestead, you're not going to have the time to do that. So we vacuumed everything out. Of course, I put this straw. They always have straw all the time in front of them to eat. Now, as far as feeding the rabbit chow, I do it different than anybody else. You'll hear people say measure it out. I don't know what it is, 7 ounces per day or something like that. I don't even keep up with that. The way I feed them is I can come out here, and if I see an empty feeder and I see a rabbit come to the feeder real quick, I know that I need to give that rabbit a little bit more than normal. This is normally where I fill it, but if it's totally empty and she comes running to the feeder, I'm going to put a little bit extra in there. But generally I fill it to right here, and I gauge, you know, how much. If there's still feed in there and she doesn't come to the feeder, I don't put very much in there, just a tiny bit to freshen it. That's all I put in there, because each rabbit eats differently, eats different amounts. Some of them are going to eat all of their hay, some of them are going to eat none of the hay. So in order to keep them trim, you don't want them to get overweight, especially the males. They'll get overweight real quick, and then they won't be any good and for breeding. So I put just enough feed in there, gauged on how hungry she is. If she's hungry, I know that she's keeping fit and trim. Now, of course, on the expecting mothers and the families, I keep feed in front of them all the time. And once we separate them, we go with our feed only as needed type of feed that we give them. So we've got 3 down here on the far end. They're expecting today or tomorrow, they're according to the schedule, and then 5 days from there the next 3, and then 5 days from there the next 3, and then I have the males over here. It's 3, 3, 3, and the males are right here right now. We have they're right here. This is A, B, male B, and male C. And they were put in here on the 10th. Today is 12th or the 13th. So I usually let them stay in there 3 or 4 days, and then I'll take and move them on to the next ladies that are ready. And that way, once they start birthing, it's the same thing right on through. Alrighty, well, this section is done. I fed everybody. I wanted to show you one other thing that I did. Now, when I was doing the straw, it took about 1.25 bales. So I have this trash bag, and I put the bale in there, the second bale in there, and then I cut it open, and I'm able to take out the 1/4 that I need. Then I can tie this up and put it back in my hay storage, and the chickens won't scatter it everywhere, and it'll stay dry and be ready for a partial, when I need a partial bale next time. So that works out real well. All right, I'm gonna move on to the goat station and get them taken care of. Follow along. Let me point out one more thing before I leave this area. I've got an extension cord running here, and I can plug these in. These run over, and I've got them running across the top. It's nice having those permanently mounted. One of them has a 3-way on it right here. Now, I use the power. It's nice having it strung out already. I don't have to get a cord out every time, but I use this for the vacuuming of the J feeders, of course, and I use it to put mosquito traps, killer electric lights out here in the summertime. And in the wintertime, I use it for the electric heating pads that I put inside the birthing boxes. So I'll have a heating pad down in the bottom of the, she's already making a nest, see, so she's due 7 to 10 days, but I just put this box in here to get ready for her, and she's already making a nest. And she's C, she's male C, so she is the third one in the second strand of males. This was B. She just got a box getting ready. So what I was saying is the electric heating pads that I put in there, the cord drops out the bottom so that they won't eat it and comes up here. And sometimes I put like a wire. There's an extra piece of wire. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an extra piece of wire in the bottom of each of these birthing boxes. So I'll pull the wire out, put the heating pad in, and put the wire back down, and then a little bit of straw over it. And the trick to the heating pad is finding the ones that don't turn off after 10 or 15 minutes. You've got to find the ones that stay on constantly. A lot of them have a safety feature that turns off automatically. So get the ones that stay on, and that way when you turn them on, they'll stay on. Of course, we turn them on right when they're due in the wintertime, so they'll have a warm place to birth at. Okay, on to the rabbits and onto the goats and the reds. Alrighty, everybody's standing around ready to get out. My sweet wife Ingrid picked up some more goat feed and an extra can. So what I'm going to do is, and two extra feed buckets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a can out here, right here behind the goat hut, and that way when I come out here, all I have to do is scoop up the feed and put it in their buckets, and then walk over and open the gate and let them out, and they'll go straight to the feed, and then I can clip the chains on them. The way I had it before was I had to go in there, get their buckets, get the feed, fight out coming out here, put the feed in the buckets, then go back and open the gate. Now I can just fill the feed, let them out, and they'll go straight to it. And of course I just let the chickens out about 10, 11 o'clock. They're usually done laying, so I let them out about this time. So let's get it set up and get them fed. Okay, that was no problem this time. So there's Sophie. When I opened the gate, she just came right out to her, and I had the chain all untied, untangled, just clipped it right on her. And there's Hannah, same thing. She just went right to her bucket there, and I just clipped her right on, no problem. The chickens, if they can find a piece of scrap that they left, they will certainly eat it. So they're out here. Now I've got the can here. I put this on it to keep the water from, the rainwater does get in right here. But I've got a little cup in there. I probably should put I'm probably gonna have to get a bungee cord to put over top of this to keep the raccoons, keep the goats from knocking it over, all that kind of stuff. So we'll get a bungee cord for that, because that lid doesn't really fit as tight as I would like. I found that these water bowls, the chain will skip right across the top of these water bowls, so that works the best. Right, Sophie? I gave them a little extra feed this morning. Over here you can see the free-range reds are everywhere. I'm gonna go collect their eggs and then move on to the next project. The next project is, they called and said that the fence wire plastic clips are in. I need to count. I'm gonna go around and count how many I need and how much fence and all of that. We'll get that going. Well, like I said at the beginning of the video today, it's been a crazy day. Just tightening up loose ends and putting things together so that I can get back on the fence tomorrow. It was really wet and rainy this morning, and it had been raining for days. So we let the sun dry things out a little bit today. Got everybody fed and cleaned up, made sure the water's fresh, medicated, and all that. Made my hardware store run. This is where we started out talking about this Silkie. There she is. I did get her moved. She does appear to be broody. When they put their head down like that and concentrate, it seems like that they've gone broody. So she's sitting on, I can't remember, 5 or 6 eggs. Seemed like that was a good number for her. Those were the ones that she was sitting on in the other coop. And she's got her feed and water in there. I'm not going to disturb her, but I wanted to tell you another real quick thing about these lights. We talked about earlier how they, I put those up for the chickens to supposedly brood through the winter, make the day seem longer. But I'll tell you another thing that they worked really well doing, and that is when you're free-ranging chickens, sometimes they won't or can't or forget or whatever to come back to the coop at night. Well, if you turn on a light inside the coop, it will help them come back to the coop at night, to train them to come back to the coop at night. So they were good for that, but I haven't had any problem lately, because we just add in 10 or 20 chickens each time, and the existing 10 or 20, they teach the new ones to head back to the coop every evening. So, but starting out a new group, trying to train a new group, just put a light in there and they will gravitate to that light when the sun's going down. That seems to have worked as far as training them to go back in the evening from after free ranging all day. Well, I want to thank everybody for watching, and keep in mind that it's about the harvest.